Let us now look at the rules to be followed while writing variable names. The first rule is variable names must always start with either letters or underscores. Should start with either letters or underscores. Okay. And it should not start with numbers. So it should always start with either letters or underscores, and it should not start with numbers. So it's an example or a valid example. I'll write underscore name equal to Sam. So this is valid since it can start with either letter or underscore. Let's take another example where I'll write simply all the characters. So this is also valid. Let me try to show another example where I have underscore somewhere in between the variable name. So this is also valid. So let me try to show one more example where I'll start with numbers and I'll write name equal to Sam. So this is not valid as the variable names should not start with numbers. We will get a syntax error for this. So it should not start with numbers. Even though it cannot start with numbers, variable names can have numbers in it. So here is an example. So I'll simply write name 1 2 3 4 equal to John. So this got executed without any errors. So you can have numbers, but it should not start with numbers. So let me try to show another example where I have numbers in between the letters. So this is also valid and it got executed without any errors. And the second rule is the variable names should contain only alphanumeric characters and underscores. So the second rule is it should contain only alphanumeric characters and underscores. So which includes all the letters from A to Z and all the letters from capital A to Z and small case A to Z and the numbers from 0 to 9, and also it can include underscores, which also means that it cannot contain any special characters. So what I'm trying to say is, if you try to write something like name question mark SA or something like that and try to assign a value, it will throw an invalid syntax or syntax error. One more example where if you try to write name curly braces ASD something like that and try to assign some numbers, here also you'll get syntax error. So third rule is, one thing to remember is that variable names are case sensitive. So variable names are case sensitive. For example, let me declare a variable number 1 equal to 1, okay, and I'll simply print number 1 So there you have it. So I declare one variable number1. So I'll declare another variable number1 with just capital casing in the starting and in the second letter. So all the letters are same except the fact that the first letter and the N and O are capital letters. And I'll say print. So both of them are, even though they have similar or the same characters in the same sequence, both of them are treated as different variables in Python. So if we try to print smaller case number1 and print the Pascal case number1, you'll get different values because they are different variables. So another important rule in writing the variable names is that never ever use reserved keywords as variable names. So never ever use reserved keywords as variable names. Let us take a look at some of the reserved keywords in Python. So let me try to import a module called keyword, and I will simply print keyword.kw list. So here are some of the reserved keywords in Python, but this is not a complete list actually. Let us see other keywords by importing another module called built-ins. So I will import built-ins, okay, and then I will say print dir of built-ins. I'm using dir since built-ins is actually an object, and dir will return a list of valid values inside the object. So let me try to show now what exactly built-ins is. So if I simply try to say print built-ins, it's basically an object, right? So I don't want to display an object, I want to display all the values inside that object. So I have to use dir and give the object name. So these are also keywords which you should be avoid using as variable names. But if you are asking the question, does Python throw any error if we try to use reserved keywords as variable names? The answer is no, it does not. Let me show you an example. So here zip is a reserved keyword, and let me try to use it as a variable name. So I'll write zip equal to, I'll say hello, and also try to print the value inside zip. So it got accepted without any errors. You are still able to use a reserved keyword as a variable name. So it did not throw any error. Then why should we avoid using reserved keywords as variable names? Let me try to demonstrate one scenario where using reserved keywords as variable names may cause some problems. So there is a built-in function called max, if you can observe, it's in here. So max basically tries to find the maximum element inside a given data structure. So let's assume we have a list, my list equal to I'll have values 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, something like that. And if I just type max of my list, it is going to return a value which is the maximum element inside the my list. So if I execute this, you see an output which is equal to 5. Okay, now if we use max keyword as variable name to save some value, for example, I'll write max equal to I'll give a string value and say hello world, and also try to print max. So you see, now we have used the result keyword as a variable name without any issues or without any errors. Now let's try to find the maximum element in the list using the max function again and see what happens. So I'll write again max of my list and execute. We are getting an error which is not so meaningful. So what I'm trying to say is, let's assume you have written some 10,000 lines of code and somewhere in the middle you have used the max keyword as variable name and forgot about it. And then later when you want to use max function, you get this error which is not so meaningful, and you will have difficult time just to understand why you got this error and how to fix this. So better completely avoid using reserved keywords as variable names, even though Python does not restrict you from using them as variable names.